In 2004, Pakistan declared war on Islamic extremists in the country and began a bloody conflict that continues to this day. With the help of their American allies, Pakistan has created a lethal fighting force that has killed thousands of extremists and liberated areas controlled by terrorists. Pakistan has one of the largest standing armies in the world, with over 500,000 active personnel, as well as over 3,000 tanks and 1,000 artillery pieces. Somalia is one of the most war-torn countries in the world, and a bitter civil war has been waged there for decades. Huge sections of the country are claimed by rival tribes, and only a small area is controlled by the recognised government. Despite this, official government forces are fighting continuously to reclaim land. It's estimated that this war has resulted in over 300,000 casualties in over the past 20 years. France has one of the most well-trained and advanced armies in the world. Spending over $70 billion a year on defence, the French military is one of the most powerful in Europe. The French have recently seen action in Mali and other former French colonies, where they're helping to combat Islamic extremism. French bombers also assisted US forces in combating Libyan forces under Gaddafi, resulting in a swift defeat and the toppling of the Libyan government. Even though Israel is a small country of only 8 million people, it's surrounded by potential enemies at almost all fronts. Israel has developed a modern, well-equipped army of over 100,000 personnel, including 3,800 tanks and an air force capable of bombing targets over 1,000 miles away. Israel's military might is helped by billions of dollars in aid from the US government. Russia inherited much of the mighty Soviet army when the Cold War ended and the Soviet Union was dismantled. For many years, Russia weren't able to maintain such a large force, and its military equipment became obsolete and derelict. But in recent years, however, the region has begun spending billions to modernise its armed forces and is no longer afraid to stretch its military muscles. Russian action in Chechnya, Georgia and Ukraine has shown the world that it's still a force to be reckoned with. Once the world's largest superpower, the UK still packs a punch when it comes to its military. The UK spends over $80 billion a year on its advanced forces and utilises the most advanced equipment in the world. Recently, the UK Army has been involved in the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, where British forces contributed 46,000 and 10,000 personnel respectively, and the second highest after the US. The UK has one of the only militaries in the world which is capable of projecting power to any country on Earth, making it a deadly force. Ruled by the totalitarian dictator Kim Jong-un, the North Korean army is absolutely massive, with over 1 million active personnel and 8 million in reserve. The North Korean military retains a war-ready state at all times and will spare no expense to defend itself against what it claims are Western attempts to destroy it. Despite much of the population in North Korea falling under the poverty line, the country spends over 15% of its GDP on its military, which is one of the highest percentages in the world. The recent and ongoing Syrian civil war has shown the world that the Syrian army is one of the most ruthless and deadly. Combined casualties of the war are said to be now over 200,000 innocent Muslims, and Syrian government forces are continuously going on the offensive against rebel-held positions. It's also been suggested that the Syrian army has already used chemical weapons against its own people as part of the conflict. Syria was forced to destroy its remaining stockpile under threat of US intervention. China is set soon to overtake the United States to become the world's largest economy within the next decade or so, and it's unsurprising then that the booming country has also more than quadrupled its military budget in the last 15 years. China already has the largest army in the world with 2.2 million personnel and looks set soon to have one of the most advanced as it expands its navy and air force to match that of America. China seems determined to challenge US military dominance and is well on its way to creating a deadly force that could tip the balance of power in the world. With a military budget 4 times larger than its closest rival, the USA remains top dog despite its dominance waning over the past decade. The US remains willing and capable of using deadly force almost anywhere in the world. With over 100 bases dotted around the globe, it's able to mobilize military with short notice almost anywhere. Its military boasts hundreds of long-range bombers, 10 aircraft carriers, and an army numbering well over 1 million. Despite challenges from Russia and China, the US looks set to remain technologically superior with advanced weaponry such as the F-35 fighter jet and the devastating naval railgun, which is currently in development. At the end of the day though, do we really need so many armies around the world? Probably not.